Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar. I have completed my webinar as a speaker at Kali IO, where it is a small community and it's a free webinar and it is helping the folks to learn technical approaches. Where in this complete webinar, we have discussed about Angular ATS resume builder using Gemini API. So I have integrated Gemini API with Angular code and it is already done on June 22nd, 2024. So this is an recording of complete session. You can go through this if someone is missing over the webinar and hope this will be helping you guys. It mainly focuses on the development part of Angular. So you can go through the whole webinar and hope you will be liking it.
So our speaker name is Sai Kumar. Sir, hello. Yeah, the sir is expert in Angular, React, and other frameworks. He is a senior software engineer. Right now, he is working in Canada, and he has over 8 years of experience in front-end developer. Sir, now you can start the session, and I will take over to you the session. So you can share your screen and start the session.
Sure, Prasad. So,
Yeah.
hi guys. Prasad gave all the insights about me. Okay, and let me come on to the video for a minute, and I'll turn off once I start the coding session. Okay, hope you guys can listen my voice clear, I guess, and you can just put on the chat if you have anything. Okay, and now let me go on to the video once. Okay. Hi guys. Okay, so I'll be presenting my screen and I'll be showing all the detailed views and what are the things which we cover in this particular session. Okay, yeah. So let me go on to the screen share. Okay, now.
Yes, now it's visible.
Yeah. In this video, we'll cover a few topics. Okay, it is not a complete Angular session of stuff. Okay, it is an advanced level of Angular. Okay, where you will be integrating your Gemini API into Angular and build some ATS stuff. So the motivation behind this implementation is whenever we are working in abroad mainly. Then in that cases you may need to update your resume as per your job description. Okay, in that cases it is typical to handle your always you need to write all the stuff and you have to update your resume. Instead of doing that, what this application will do is you give all the inputs however you want. Only I mean you can give in a simple English, and this Angular along with Gemini, it will convert into a proper formatted structure, and then it will give you a sample. And if you don't like that sample, immediately you can change it by single click. And then once you are satisfied with complete AI generated resume, you can just download it as a PDF. It would be very easy to download any type of resumes based on your job description. So for that sake, we'll be going into this application. So let me go into one more slide here. What we'll cover in this video. So here I'll try to cover introduction to Angular and the future of Angular in application development. Let's talk about that. So nowadays, every JavaScript framework is like every year we are getting a very new framework, new versions, and also there are some set of new implementations which are coming in picture. Right, in that Angular is trending on a top level where it is getting upgraded for the performance levels as well as for adopting to the new technical concepts like signals, standalone components, micro front-end architecture. All these big concepts are covered by this Angular. Okay, and we can expect lot of future of Angular. Okay, and now it is just 18, and as per the Angular team, it could go till 25 to 30 versions of Angular. So we can expect more, 10 or more, and based on that implementations they will be making this Angular as a developer friendly. So that is the main target of Angular. Now they are not coming up with the new things or a basic stuff. They are completely making the developer friendly applications. Okay, so that is the future of Angular. You can expect next 10 years. So no worries. You can just go and try to learn Angular. Okay, AI, everything can't replace a human completely. At least for next 10 years, it can't replace completely. Okay, be sure you have to learn some JavaScript frameworks, either Angular, React, anything that would be helpful to you. Okay, and coming to the Gemini API, actually we heard about Gemini, which is a product which is given by Google, and it is an AI product where you can ask the questions to that Gemini and it will respond to you with an appropriate answer, and it will give you an effective answer in a way how you prompt to that. So that Gemini API, now they have provided a open source. That means this API is the behind the scene, whatever the model we are I mean Gemini is running. So that whole Gemini API, I can use it. So we can use with some set of tokens. So we'll see that. So how exactly this Gemini API can be integrated in Angular. For that sake, we will use some set of libraries as well. They have provided libraries, and there are some npm libraries. So if people are coming from freshers or someone, this terminology will be bit crazy, but you can just learn that in the future also. So npm is a library, just to give a glance. npm is a node module package module, so where you can just install on your system, and there are some set of libraries which can be implemented by anyone, by either a company or an individual, and they can make it as public, private, all these things. Okay, so such things are called as an npm, and we will be using some of the reusable npm libraries which were given in our public repositories, and they are open source. So some of their libraries are, we will use three libraries. One is html to canvas, js pdf, and google slash generative ai. So this google slash generative ai, we will try to use this for integrating our open source complete application. I can integrate with our Gemini with this Google Generative AI. So it is a library, it provides some utilities. We have to give what it expects. So for example, in this case, this generative AI will expect a token. So we'll send that token to this utilities, and automatically generative AI will respond you with some set of text messages. So that text messages, we can just format it and we can use it. And coming to html to canvas and js pdf, they are used for downloading your complete resume of html content into a pdf format. So I'm using these three libraries in this. So let me go into the terminal. Let me go into the Visual Studio Code, and I will talk about this. Okay, for time's sake, what I did is, we are not concentrating on the Angular application now, complete Angular application. So we are concentrating only on the generative AI. So what I did is, I have created this project, and before going into this project, people need to know about these things, like basics of Angular, where it comes up with interpolation, bindings, and everything. And coming to Angular reactive forms, we'll be using some set of forms where you can just put your input fields and do the stuff. And then you can go with Angular services. We will be creating some set of services, and based on that services, in we will be implementing all the detailed generative AI stuff, that is Google Gemini API related stuff in these services. And we are using the standalone. So standalone components are trending in Angular nowadays. Like 16 plus versions are completely onto the standalone, which is a default of all the components. And for creating this project, you need to use this command, and for generating or using the npm libraries, we have to use this command. So what we have to do is just go into the project. First, you create a project on Angular, and then go into this particular project and install npm with Google Generative AI and HTML to Canvas and JS PDF. Just you need to run this in the terminal. So if you run this in the terminal, you will be getting installed, and that installations will be like this: HTML to Canvas, JS PDF. You can see in the package JSON. So I have a complete series of Angular where you can go with all implementations, and it's a very basic, from basic to advanced level. I have covered everything on my channel. Okay, so I'll provide you that channel details also in the last, where you can subscribe and you can see over there. Now, I have already installed this. So what we'll do is, first we'll create a utility. Utility in the sense a service. So where you can use throughout your application. So how you can create in Angular? It is very simple with a command prompt itself. Ng generate, G for generate, and you can generate Gemini, and I want to generate a service. So let me go with S. So ng generate service, and the service name is Gemini, and I don't want to use any of the test files. So I'm just skipping the test files. So it will create you a service. If you see here, it created a service, and inside this service, what we'll do is, we already installed our Gemini stuff. So what I'll do, I'll just import some set of utilities which are provided from that library. So let me go with @Google Generative AI, and inside this we can get some set of properties, and I want to get it as Google Generative AI. And here, this is a particular class. We have to create the instance for it. So let's create a instance variable here. Let me go with a private variable where I can use generative AI, and which is of type, as we are using the TypeScript, I am trying to give this complete TypeScript format, and I am giving it as colon. And if you are not assigning the value, then it will prompt you to give a not symbol. This is a latest TypeScript update. So now inside the constructor, we will try to assign that value. So once you assign that value, no need to give this particular not symbol. Till assignment, we need that. So now what I'll do is I'll create a object on this Google generative AI. Okay, and it requires some token. So where we'll get this token? Let's go and get that first. So let me go into the browser. So actually speaking, there is a Android, I mean AI Studio. So here the AI Studio is something like you can just log in into your Gmail into this. Once you use this URL, immediately it will ask you to log in. You can log in with any of your Google account, and once you log in into this, it will ask you to create the API key. So I have created already this one. Okay, if you want to create, just click it on, and you can just click on the policies acceptance. And if you want to search any of the projects in your case, you can search, or otherwise you can give a name. So let me give a name like, okay, and there is no match found. So what we'll do is just we'll create a right axis, and let me go with this. Okay, so I have created my first project, and then you can create an API key. Okay, so this key will be created, and you can copy this key and just go to your code and just use it. Okay, and one more thing, don't use the same one, because I'll, after this session, I'll be deleting that due to some security reasons. I can't expose this particular key. So always create your own key. Okay, so this will be created, and this instance will get all the capabilities which are provided by this Google generative AI. Now what we'll do is we can remove this not symbol. Okay, and now we will create some utilities where it gives the data. So first what I'll do is async. So this, all the things will be going in the network. So we have to handle that network calls by using async and await concepts. So let me use something like generate text. So this is the utility method which will give us complete response. Okay, and what we will send to this is I'll send a prompt. That could be any of this thing. So I'll be sending this prompt, and I'll create my model. So actually speaking, this will create only the instance. We have to use the model. So there are a lot of models, AI models already defined in this particular Google generative AI. So we will be using some of them. So one thing is I can use this generative AI. No need to use this Google generative AI again, because already we have created an instance. And on this instance, I can use generative get generative model, and I can just call this with model, and I can give the name of the model. So I'm using Gemini Pro. So this is my model name. Let's see what's the problem here. On the promise. Okay, so okay, sorry. So this dot generative AI dot get generative model. So you'll be getting a model over here, and then we will be doing some set of stuff over here where we will be sending our prompt to the generative model. So how you can send is just you will be catching the response, and you will be sending via await model dot, there is something called as generate content. So whenever you want to generate the content, you can use this method from that particular model, and this model is given by Gemini Pro. And now here I'll pass my prompt. Whatever the question you are passing, you can pass over here. So the prompt, whatever we are receiving, I am sending over here, and this will be the result. And this result will also a promise for us. So again, The same thing, if you want to know something more about promises and all that stuff, you have to go to my channel, you'll get all the details. So let me go here with a response, and as I said, this is a promise based. We have to use and await. We are awaiting until that operation is done. So let me go with result dot response. So this response will be a object, and from this object we will be getting the text, actual text response, which we get it from Gemini. So here I'll use response dot. If you want to get the text, you can use a text method. So this will be returning you a text data, and this data I want to utilize. Whenever I send a prompt, whole this process will happen in the background, and then I'll be getting a proper text, whatever we are expecting. So that is about your generate text. So now I'll use this generate text whenever I want to pass it as a prompt. So when I want to pass this as a prompt, so I'll show you the UI already which I have developed. So let me go here, and this is my screen where you have all the basic details which are required for our resume. So here the thing is, we will be using all the basic details, and you have something called as summary stuff, where you can create all the skills and professional summary. And also you have to give the experience, which company you have worked and what you have did over there. And also you have something like add experience. If you have more number of experience, you can just add this. And you have recognition details. If you have any recognition stuff, you can post all the recognitions in this section, and you can post your hobbies and then job details. I'll explain you how exactly this works, but I have created this just for the time constraint. So now I have developed completely not with the Gemini also. Okay, so you can see that by using our Angular application. So I have created an Angular application with this route, where I'm pointing to this resume, and this resume builder component will be loaded. So once this component is loaded, whole that form will be loaded. So this is how we will be creating our forms. That is why I said reactive forms is a basic stuff for us. So I'm using the reactive forms over here. If you see here, I am trying to use reactive forms and forms module. That's it. So I'm not using any other stuff. It's pure Angular stuff. So now I have created all the details over here by using ATS resume builder. I have created all my design stuff. So if you open any of this, you will have all the details which shows you the UI. So now I don't want to focus completely on this part, because it is again a reactive forms. So that reactive forms you have to learn from Angular. So this is not the session for that, so I'm not covering over there. So now what we will be targeting over here. So after filling all this, so I have to send a preview. So once I click this, the all the details should be sent to Gemini, and Gemini will respond with some HTML content. I'll show you the prompt which I'm using, and then once you get the HTML content, you can see the preview over this below. Once you get that, and you have a print and download button. Once you click this, it will download. So that is how it works. So let's see how we have to implement that. As of now, I didn't integrated this with Gemini, so let's do that. First thing is, we have something called as preview. So what we have to do under preview, so this is a preview button. On clicking on this button, we have to execute some set of logics. So what we are executing over here, the thing is, first we have to send the data to our Gemini. So already we have created our service. So let's go here and create some set of methods. These are all methods I am using for our form base. So I'll post all these onto a GitHub link, and I'll post that to Prasad. Prasad will be sharing with you guys. Okay, so whole this code will be available. Don't worry about the code. Now let's go with async, and I want to make this as a method called as preview. So we are using a preview method. What this preview will do is, it will get the complete details of the form. So how it can get is, I can get that payload completely from that particular resume form detail. This is my form name, where I can get all the values. Now this will give you all the values whatever you are entering in the form. So this one we have to make it as string. So let me go with const str is equal to, I'm making as a string. So if this is completely an object, the payload completely whatever we are receiving, it's an object. So what we will be doing is, we will convert that into JSON dot stringify of, I will pass this payload, and this has been converted into my string, and what this string should be followed with. So this string will give only the details but not the prompt. So these will have complete details of employee or a person, and we have to follow this with /n, and I want to pass a prompt. So what is my prompt? Let me create my own prompt over here. So let me go into readme. So this is already I have created for my sake. So this is my prompt. So let me copy this prompt and go into the top one, and I'll create this as a variable. So this is a tilt symbol, so I'm able to use multiple lines. All these prompt will be helping to format your whole HTML content. So let me save this, and now this is a generic prompt. It is not specific to anything. So whatever you see on the UI, you will be seeing the prompt, and you will be seeing the whole content. If you want to change the prompt, you can go and you can change it, but as of now we can use that prompt, and that prompt is also a string. I'm appending all my data and then my static prompt. So let me append this dot prompt, and this is my overall string. So this is a string. I want to send it to my generative AI. So what I'll do is I'll handle completely in another method, send data, and I'll pass this str. Let me create that send data. Send data, and you will be receiving a string, or you can make it as a prompt as well, better to understand in a prompt manner, and then you can get it into this particular parameter. Once you receive this, you have to do some set of logic. So if you have prompt, then only you have to go further. So now if you have prompt, and also you should have the form filled, so you can check this value. If form is not filling, and if you don't have any form values, I don't want to send any of the data to my Gemini API. So that's why I'm checking both. If you should have a prompt as well as a value. Now the case is, what I'll do, I'll just use let data is equal to, I'll just await this. So to await this, we need to use an async. So that is a syntax for us. So whenever you are using await, you have to use an async for that parent function. So now what I'll do is I'll use this Gemini service. So how to use that service? Actually speaking, the service at some place, and let me go into that service, Gemini service, and here is the service, here is the component. So I want to use this service utilities inside my resume builder. So what I'll do is I'll just go into the injector. So there are two ways to implement this again. Okay, either you can use this way, or you can go with inject method. Inject method is a new technique in Angular, so we'll go with that. So let me add Gemini service, and then I'm giving a Gemini service which is of type, and I'm just injecting this into Gemini service. So again, this inject method we are getting from Angular core. So it is imported from Angular core, and Gemini service is the service whatever we just created. And now I can use this Gemini service for calling that prompt. So what I'll do is I'll just go into our await state, and then I'll use this dot Gemini service dot generate text of, I'll pass my complete text as a string. So now this is not a string, this is a prompt. So let me pass it as a prompt. So this data, whatever we are getting, let's see here. The data, complete data I want to see. Actually speaking, there are some set of responses which will have some set of tactics where you have to format that particular text which is generated by Gemini service. So I'll show you just with small sample. So I'm not giving any of the data, or just let me give only this details, Sai Kumar. Okay, and I'm not focusing on the data whatever we are getting. I'm just hitting a preview, but we didn't wrote that preview call. Let me go and write our preview call in our HTML and bind to this preview. So we can bind by using a click event, and I can just use this preview method. So once you click this, then immediately it will start running this particular preview method. So let me go into the TS, and this preview will be invoking, and it will append the string, and then you will be sending the data to that particular Gemini service, and then you will be getting a proper data from the backend. Let me go here and clear this off. I'll show you some other things over here as well. Please be cautious on this. So I gave only Sai Kumar, and remaining everything is a static prop. I'm not giving any of the details. Let me click on this preview. If you go into the network, and you can see there is a call happened over here, that is Gemini, and it is still pending. So here, when it is in pending, I want to show a disable state, because people should not click always. Instead of calling always that Gemini, once he is perfectly all right with all the code, then he will be seeing this. And the success callback has returned the data. So let's see the console. Let me go into the console, and you can see all the data. You got all this stuff. Okay, and this is how the response will be. And if I go into our network, and this is the response which will be received. So this response would be quite different, but this is the part which we are getting complete text whatever it is returning, and that logic already we wrote. And if you see here, there are some unicodes which has been inserted inside this text. So to replace that, actually this unicode, if you see, that unicode will be a backslashes, so backticks. So if you see this unicode, so it is something like this unicode symbol. Okay, so that's why we have to remove that unicodes. For removing that unicodes, we have some logic over there. So I'll show you what we'll do in the logic. So once we get the data, I want to replace that unicodes, and that unicodes is equivalent to 3 tilt symbols. So I'll just replace that. I have a data, I want to replace this data with this tactics, and I want to remove the HTML as well, and then followed by this one. So I'm getting a generative AI data in a HTML format. So that HTML will have all this. So I want to replace that content. Let me copy the same and put it over here. I want to replace if anything other than this combination. So for example, if you have this combination, it will remove, and at the end I want to remove this 3. So let me save this. Now I want to showcase whole this data on my UI. So how can I do that? It is very simple. Just let me go into the resume builder, and let me create some set of HTML content over here. So how we will create that HTML content? It is very simple. Like, you will be having a div, and this div, I'm just writing an inline style. I want to make a padding of 30 pixel. Again, this is completely CSS. So if you are not much familiar with CSS, please check out my web development series. Okay, so you can see all my CSS stuff over there, and I'm giving this hash symbol. So what I want to do is, I want to insert some data inside this div, which is responded from my Gemini. So what I'll do is, it is very simple. I have this hash. I'll use this hash variable in my component.ts. Let me go into the component.ts, and let me insert something like @view child, and I'll pass this child value. So let me go here, copy this result, and put it over here. And here I want to give a name, something like result container, and this is something like element ref. So now I'm not assigning any value to this, so I just keep not symbol. So let me copy this and go down. Now here we have the data. Now I want to apply the data. Once the user clicks on this particular result container, and we'll be getting native element, and you can use all the values whatever you can access from JavaScript. So this is not something new. Actually speaking, we are, instead of getting get element by id, document.get element by id, we are using something called as view child, which is provided by our Angular. So what I'm doing is, once the user clicks on this preview, I'm deleting all the data which is present inside this native element. That means if already something is exist, so between these two divs, then that will be marked as empty, so that once the user clicks on preview, previous data will be vanished and new data will be visible. So let me go here, and then let me add this particular data, that is HTML content. So how to add this HTML content? Already this data itself is a HTML string. So now what I can do is I can use something like result container dot native element dot inner HTML is equal to the HTML whatever we are getting from API, that is Gemini API. And once this is done, I'm done with the calling of the data. So for that sake, what I'll do is I have a variable called as loading. So this loading is a boolean value which helps us to disable our buttons until this whole API is done. So what I'll do is I'll just call my loading indicator over here, and then I'll close that loading indicator over here. This dot loading is equal to false, and save this. Now let me go into the HTML. Let me go into the button and let me disable this by using a disabled property. Disabled is equal to, I can give loading, and in the same way I can give here also for the preview because I don't want to print as well. So now I'll go here and I'll add disabled is equal to loading. So now I gave the loading indicator as well. Now let's give a proper data and see how the HTML will look like. So let me go here and then let me fill this. For filling this, I have my own resume, and I will also use some set of job description which is in real time, and then we'll generate the resume. So now let me give Sai Kumar, and let me give full name as Kotiwada, and let me go with the email, some random email and some phone number. Let me give the LinkedIn profile, my LinkedIn profile, and I'm giving a GitHub, and here is my portfolio. So what I'll do is I'll just use this over here, and skills. So let me add my set of skills, Angular, React, and let me add Vue.js, and all the remaining skills I'll provide in the professional summary. So let me go into my resume. This is my sample resume. So what I'll do is just I'll copy some set of content. Whatever you have, whatever you want to type, you can type over here. So I'm just picking up just for the time constraint. I made it ready, and let me give some set of company name over here. I'll give something like Techshare SKK, and Hyderabad I can give from 2021 to this, from December, and 2024 month also you can give something else like November, April, anything. So let me give April, and let me go with the experience details. Already I have some set of experience details over here. I'm just adding some stuff, and don't think that these will only work. Everything will work. You can experiment on it. Okay, so let me go here, and instead of typing all the stuff, I'm just copy pasting. And then let me go with the recognitions and rewards. So let me copy these recognitions and rewards and put it over here. If you don't want to use that, just make it as empty. You don't give that values. And let me go with learning and YouTube, browsing, something like this. And let's go with the job description. So actually speaking, whenever you are applying for job description, there will be some key points which will be mentioned by the recruiter, so you have to focus on that. So now let me go into LinkedIn, and here we have something like jobs, and I can pick anything. As of now I'm picking Angular developer job, and you can see the job description over here. So there is a job description, complete job description over here. Let me copy this, just copy it and put it over here. Okay, and then let me remove all the spaces so that it can prompt easily. So I have removed all the spaces from the job description, and let me click on preview. So now you can see preview is disabled and print and download is also disabled. So now what we'll do is we'll wait for the response from the Gemini. As we are sending a big prompt, it will take some time to get on, and I'm not using a streaming mechanism. If you are using a streaming mechanism, you can get parts of the data, but here I want a bulk of data in an HTML format, so that's why I'm waiting for it. So now you can see complete resume has been generated. It has some CSS problem based on the prompt. If you don't like it, just go hit it again. You'll get some other format, some other colors, all this. So whatever the colors, whatever the things you want, you can just provide a prompt. So that prompt you can provide in my string, whatever I shown you, prompt variable, you can provide there. And now all these details will be picked up by this generative API, and it will respond you with a proper HTML content. That HTML content we are dumping onto our pages. And now we are using 1.5 Pro. You can see this, all this, it is giving all the details about my project, and you have rewards and proof of concept and everything it is providing. So it is providing a proper data to you. And one more thing, if you want to print and download, just go here and we can use this print and download button, but we'll write some set of logic. So now let me go with a click event, and let me do one thing. Let me use print and download method. So let me copy this. Already I have explained you there are two set of things which I have added into my libraries. That is nothing but JS stuff. So you can see in my package JSON. Let me show you that as well. So this is my content, print and download. And if you see that package JSON, we are using HTML2 canvas and JS PDF. By using these two, I'll try to give a utility. Already that utility is available with me, so I don't want to write all the code related to that. I'll just get it and use it for us. So here is the code, and we have to import all this data. So let me import HTML canvas and JS PDF. These are the libraries, external libraries which we are using. And this is our container. So we are using the same container, so no problem. Okay, and we are generating like an image, and we are adding some set of PDF stuff, and all the details I'm adding, and we are adding the pages also for the PDF. And again, if you feel something like doing something over here, you can change it as per your requirements. And now we are saving this particular file, and this is a file name whatever we are giving. Let's try it out again. So let me go here, and let me give all the details, and LinkedIn, GitHub, portfolio, and then Angular, React, Vue.js, and then my professional summary. And then go with this Techshareskk, Hyderabad, and then I'll go with an year of 2021 December. I'm just selecting that. You can give whatever the data you want. I'll give November, okay, this time. And then let me give some experience details, and then recognition details. I will give the same obis, and then I'll go with the same stuff. Let me copy only this time, and go here, give the job description and preview. So you may be getting a question, we have many things to do that, why to have our own? Actually speaking, this will not track your whole details. That is point one. And point two is, for ATS resume builders itself, you have to pay some set of dollars. If you want to go with the paid versions, already there are some ATS resume builders, but here whenever you are working with some set of companies, they need as per their job description. So that is the reason we have to develop always in that, in the way how we want. So for example, if I just print this, let's see. Okay, so I gave the method right. Okay, I think I didn't save it, or what? Yeah, sorry guys. So let me save this. Just to speed up, I'm just selecting the details whatever I have. I'm adding random content, and then I'll go with Techshareskk, Hyderabad 2021 and December 2024. Let me go with November and let me enter the experience detail. This time I'll give some other details. Okay, so let me go here, put it over here, and then recognition details. I'll just give some set of recognition details. And then hobbies, job description. Let me pick something from the same and preview. So it is taking bit time. And also be careful if you are using GitHub or so, your token should be secured. So don't push any of the tokens into the GitHub. That can be misused. So that's why I'm saying even the project, whatever I'm using and whatever the data I'm using in this project, I'll not keep the data as it is. And you can see this is completely formatted and it looks great. So let me click on print and download. You can see this. This is my resume. It is in a big screen where you are seeing all the details in a short way. That means I gave only one details. So if you want to give more details, you can provide the more details. And if you can see here, there are LinkedIn profile, all this data will be available. So that is how your ATS resume has been built.
Hello.
Yeah, Prasad.
Yeah, so the session was amazing. And on the behalf of the entire Kali.io team, I would like to extend our grateful gratitude to each of you for your valuable contribution for the today's session. Your insights and expertise and engaging presentations have enriched our understanding of the subject matter and left our lasting impact on our community members. We truly appreciate, sir, for the time and efforts you have dedicated to sharing your knowledge and experiences with us. Our passion for our respective fields and your willingness to impact our wisdom has inspired us. Thank you once again for being the part of our enriching experience. And thank you so much, guys, for joining the session. So we are ending our session here. So thank you for your time. And sir, thank you once again.
Thank you all.
So I'm ending the meeting now.
Sure, Prasad. Thank you.